The human brain, a masterpiece of complexity. The human brain, often called the most complex creation known to humanity, is a true mystery that continues to unfold. Every synapse, every electrical current flowing between neurons seems to echo an ancient wisdom, a design that surpasses scientific understanding. Like a divine masterpiece, it not only controls the basic functions of the body but also holds our thoughts, emotions, and perhaps even a spark of divine creation. Within this tangled web of neural networks, many believe lies the essence of who we are, a symphony of intricate processes that continuously adjust and evolve. But this complexity isn't just biological, it reflects something greater, a continuous adaptation that bridges the material with the immaterial. At its core, the brain seems to carry traces of a larger plan, as if it were designed with a higher purpose. When we consider its ability to adapt, evolve, and learn, it raises the question, could this transformation be, in some way, a reflection of divine creation itself? Perhaps, in its complexity, the brain is revealing something deeper, something we intuitively sense but don't yet fully understand. The answer to this may be hidden in the connections we make throughout life or in the next discovery waiting for us. Neuroplasticity and the divine nature. Neuroplasticity, or the brain's incredible ability to reorganize its connections, is living proof of its adaptability. Just as life offers us new opportunities for growth and redemption, the brain adjusts to new experiences and learning, constantly creating new neural pathways. Brain plasticity can be seen as a metaphor for divine grace. With each new challenge, we are given another chance for reconstruction, for change. Every mistake we make, every experience we live through, carves new layers in our minds, allowing us to reinvent ourselves, as if we are repeatedly given a second chance to rewrite our story. This capacity for transformation also suggests a deep connection with the divine. Just as the brain is never static, our spiritual journey is also in constant evolution, shaped by the choices we make. If we take a moment to reflect, this ability to recreate ourselves might be a reflection of something greater, a gift given to us, a manifestation of divine nature itself. In the end, neuroplasticity reminds us that change is always possible, both in our bodies and in our souls, and that renewal is always within reach. Divine communication and the brain. Throughout the centuries, many spiritual traditions have considered the brain to be the throne of the soul, a sacred space where divine communication can be received and interpreted. This idea, that the brain acts as a bridge between the physical and spiritual, resonates with the words of Romans 12 verse 2, which calls us to renew our minds in order to transform our perception. When we open our minds to this possibility, we allow the divine message to flow through our thoughts, guiding our actions and shaping our choices, as if we're tuning into a frequency that transcends the earthly. This connection between the brain and the divine, although intangible, manifests in real ways throughout our daily lives. When we allow ourselves to listen to that inner voice, which many believe to be the voice of God, we're able to make wiser decisions, ones more in tune with our true essence. Perhaps true divine communication doesn't happen in audible words but in subtle moments of clarity when our mind aligns with a higher wisdom. And just as the brain adapts and evolves, maybe our ability to hear that voice depends on our willingness to grow spiritually. The brain as a divine receiver. Given its dynamic nature, the brain, with its ever-changing neural pathways, could be seen as a receptor for divine messages. Just like a radio antenna needs to be adjusted to pick up invisible signals, our mind must be in tune with the divine frequency to absorb the truths being revealed to us. With each new experience or thought, we adjust this frequency, allowing subtle messages from something greater to flow through our consciousness. What if the brain is, in fact, the medium through which God communicates directly with us, through insights, intuitions, and moments of clarity? This idea becomes even more powerful when we realize that divine thoughts aren't necessarily spoken words but sensations, perceptions, and profound understandings that surface almost inexplicably. The brain, then, acts as the channel through which these messages flow, making us conduits of an eternal stream of wisdom. By tuning our minds to this frequency, we might come to realize that divine connection is always available to us. We just need to be open to receiving it. But achieving this kind of harmony requires practice. It requires carving out space amidst daily chaos to hear that quiet voice, always present yet often hidden in the layers of our minds. The influence of environment and choices on the brain. The environment around us and the choices we make play a crucial role in shaping and evolving our brains. Just as a plant grows toward the light, our brain adapts to the stimuli and circumstances we interact with daily. The experiences we live through, the places we frequent, and the people we connect with all shape our neural pathways, reinforcing patterns of thought and behavior. If we find ourselves in chaotic environments, our brain can be driven towards stress and confusion, but in spaces of peace and harmony, it opens up to deeper spiritual insights. This invites us to consider the power we hold in choosing not only our physical surroundings but also the spiritual environment we nurture in our minds. Every decision we make, from the smallest to the most significant, carves out a part of our brain, and by extension, our soul. When we choose paths that encourage spiritual growth, we nourish not just our mind but our spirit as well. Through this process, we discover that the brain can be a gateway to inner transformation, if we are willing to make conscious choices that align with our higher essence. The power of words and emotions. The words we speak and the emotions we feel have a profound impact on our brain and our spiritual connection. Just like a stone tossed into a lake creates ripples that spread outward, our words and emotions create waves that shape our minds and, by extension, our reality. The verse from John 1 verse 1, "In the beginning was the Word," highlights the creative power of words. Every sentence we speak carries the potential to build or destroy, both in the external world and within our own psyche. Words can be seeds of light or darkness, and their consequences manifest in both our brain and soul. Emotions, in turn, act as the energy that fuels these words, amplifying their power. When words are spoken with love, kindness, and compassion, they have the potential to heal and transform, not just ourselves, but those around us. The opposite is also true. Negative emotions can take root in our brain, distorting our perceptions and pulling us away from spiritual harmony. Thus, the power of words and emotions goes beyond mere communication. They shape our neural networks and our connection to the divine, suggesting that we are co-creators of our spiritual experience through the things we speak and feel. Adaptation, growth, and divine guidance. The brain's adaptability, often referred to as neuroplasticity, reflects an intrinsic wisdom in divine design. Just as the brain adjusts and grows based on life experiences, our spiritual life also follows the laws of cause and effect. Every challenge we face, every obstacle we overcome, elevates us to a new level of understanding and connection with something greater. In this context, divine guidance isn't an external force imposing change, but rather an internal compass steering us toward expansion, subtly adjusting our being as we evolve. In this process, the brain and soul work in harmony, learning and adapting to the lessons life presents. This continuous growth is more than just a biological phenomenon, it symbolizes that life itself is a constant rebirth. Just as the brain never stops reorganizing, our spiritual journeys are always in motion, shifting with circumstances and internal calls. What we often see as difficulties are opportunities for realignment, where divine guidance leads us beyond apparent limitations, reshaping both brain and spirit. But are we ready to recognize these moments of adaptation and growth as part of a greater plan? The law of choice and free will. The law of choice, or free will, is one of the most powerful forces that shapes both our brain and soul. Every decision we make, no matter how insignificant it may seem, creates new neural pathways, sculpting our brain to reflect our intentions and desires. At the same time, these choices reveal the divine gift of free will, given to us so that we could co-create our lives. It's as if each choice is a brushstroke, and the brain is the canvas upon which we paint our experiences and spiritual journey. With each new stroke, we define not only who we are but who we are meant to become. However, with this power comes great responsibility. Choosing the path of light or shadow, of spiritual connection or disconnection, isn't an external imposition, but an internal decision. The freedom to choose is a blessing that carries the weight of its consequences, both in the neural and spiritual realms. How we use this freedom determines the kind of synapses we strengthen in our brain, but it also defines the kind of human being we become. Do we fully grasp the power that lies within our daily choices and how they shape not only our minds but also our spiritual destiny? Neurogenesis and spiritual rebirth. Neurogenesis, the process by which new brain cells are created, mirrors the concept of spiritual rebirth. Just as the brain can generate new neurons regardless of age, we too are spiritually capable of renewal, of starting anew. This biological phenomenon serves as a powerful reminder that change is always possible, that we are never trapped in a fixed state. The birth of new neurons symbolizes the birth of new perspectives and opportunities, a reflection of divine grace that continually offers us the chance for redemption and growth. We are constantly invited to rewrite our narrative, to transcend old patterns, and open ourselves to spiritual renewal. However, this renewal process doesn't happen effortlessly. Just as neurogenesis depends on stimuli like learning and experience, spiritual rebirth requires an openness to the divine and a willingness to let go of what no longer serves us and embrace the new. In every new brain cell that emerges, we can see a metaphor for forgiveness and the grace extended to us even when we falter. Neurogenesis, therefore, reminds us that transformation is possible on all levels, mental, emotional, and spiritual, and that rebirth is always available to us, provided we are willing to accept it. Challenges and growth, the parallel between brain and soul. Growth, both at the neural and spiritual levels, never occurs without challenges. Just as the brain needs to face obstacles to create new synapses and strengthen itself, the soul also finds opportunities for evolution in suffering and difficulties. The resistance we feel in moments of crisis is, in reality, the push needed for both the mind and spirit to expand their limits. Every challenge is a test that allows us to develop resilience, the ability to adapt to circumstances, and discover new paths that once seemed impossible. On the flip side, it is in adversity that true growth happens. Just as the brain learns most deeply when forced to confront the unknown, our soul expands when challenged by life's complexities. Moments of great pain and uncertainty often bring with them the greatest opportunities for learning and renewal. Perhaps, in the intertwining of brain and soul, lies the key to understanding how we overcome these trials and emerge stronger, wiser, and more connected to our essence. After all, it's not the challenges themselves that define us, but how we respond to them. The brain and divine communication. In the vast universe of the human mind, there seems to be a continuous intertwining of the material and the spiritual. The brain, with its complexity and adaptability, serves as a channel through which divine messages can flow, guiding us on our earthly journey. With every thought, with every new neural connection, we can sense the subtle presence of a greater force, shaping not only who we are but also where we are headed. This divine communication doesn't need to be grand or explicit. Often, it manifests in small epiphanies, in the quiet whispers that arise during moments of reflection. The harmony between science and faith, between the brain and the divine, invites us to explore this connection more deeply. What we perceive as simple brain processes may, in fact, be the universe's way of guiding us, shaping our choices and experiences. And as we come to understand the brain's functioning more clearly, perhaps we will finally be able to access that spiritual wisdom more directly, wisdom that has always been present, but sometimes eludes our understanding. What more might the brain reveal to us about this eternal communication that continues to guide us?